Now, we're still dealing with the fallout from yesterday's game against Fulham away from home. Whose fault was it? Was it Ruben Amorim? Was it Bruno Fernandes? Or was it Dalot? Or was it all of them put together? We're going to be discussing that in today's show and the panic that's come out of this draw. Worried about what we have in store for us in this coming season. Without Europe, that's probably the biggest worry we've got. We've got no other competition we're dealing with. We're only playing the Premier League. And if we're out of the Premier League within the first couple of games, it's going to be a hard, long season. But before we kick off today's show, please go ahead and hit that like button on this video, and if you're new to the Man Utd Stream channel and you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and more from one single daily dose. By the way, we're trying to get to that 7,000 mark in subscribers, so if you can hit that subscribe button, please, it helps a lot and it kind of makes us feel good about ourselves. Anyway, let's jump straight into today's show, and of course it's all about yesterday's draw against Fulham. Now, who'd have thought we'd be so upset about a draw? Now, yesterday, if you watch my reaction show, don't go ahead and watch it again because I was upset. I was genuinely upset. I was frustrated watching this United team, and I just felt worried again. That anxious feeling that, oh my God, we're going through this again. This is the repeat of last season. We started seeing exactly the same United that we saw last season. Not composed, losing the ball. Every time the other opposition attacked, they looked like they were going to score. And corners. The issues with corners we've still not dealt with. What are the defenders doing? Why are they not heading the ball out? And why is the goalkeeper flapping every time he comes out? Now, we've had plenty of commentary from so many different critics, so many shows, so many different pundits on why United failed to win the game against Fulham yesterday, the fallout of whose fault it was. For me, it was pretty clear the fault lied with captain Bruno Fernandes. Now, I like Bruno Fernandes. I've been a big fan of him and I've defended him against some fans who have said, look, he's useless, he's a crap player, he costs United all the time. Yes, he scores one-off goals against weak opposition and we think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Look, I don't agree with that. I look at the stats and the stats say that this guy actually contributes a lot to United. He provides loads of assists to the strikers at United and the stats don't lie. The stats do not lie. He is an assist machine. He is very good at doing that, and of course he's going to screw up a few passes because if you're going to assist so many goals, you're going to of course try again, and one or two of those passes will go through, but majority of them will fail, and we probably concentrate on them failed passes and say, oh my God, this guy's absolutely rubbish, his passes go everywhere. But realistically, when Bruno Fernandes is on top of his game, he is one of the best midfielders out there in Europe, and there's no doubt about that. So let's keep that into perspective. Yesterday, my outburst against Bruno Fernandes was not about him being a bad player overall. It was that he had a very bad game yesterday and he should have been subbed, and that's where Amorim comes into play. Now, again, I love Ruben Amorim. I think he's a fantastic manager. I'm still not sure about his formation and him sticking to that formation at the three at the back. I still think that we need to overload the midfield in the Premier League and control everything in the middle of the park, because that's how old United teams have always won the Premier League. You have to control the midfield. If you lose the midfield, I feel you lose the game in the Premier League. Yeah, you might be able to do this in other leagues, but in the Premier League it's completely different. You need to have control of the midfield, and United set up in this formation with the Ruben Amorim tactics, for me, personally, doesn't work. Let us know in the comments below what you think about this tactics and formations. I mean, there's lots of fallout about discussions about who's right and who's wrong and what formation we should be playing, and the three at the back isn't working and who's playing where. Let us know why you feel United have not been successful against Arsenal and against Fulham now. Now let's actually rewind to the start of yesterday's game. The first 10 minutes, United looked like a crazy team. In fact, I was sat there planning in my head what video title I'm going to have for United's successful win against Fulham. 4-0, 5-0 was going in my head. I was thinking this is going to be a crazy scoreline for United. United were all over Fulham. The chances that Kuna had in the first opening 10 minutes. I mean, that one where he got the long ball from the goalkeeper Bandia and it went, what control by Kuna, bringing it down, and then the shot. It could have gone anywhere. It could have been a goal quite easily, and Leno put his left hand out and saved. It was brilliant football from Kuna. And I said it when I watched Kuna against Arsenal, and I said he is going to be the driving force for the United success this season. And Mbeumo, unfortunately, I said this when I saw him against Arsenal, and now I'm hearing some people coming out with it. He's not match fit. He does not look match fit to me. I don't think he brings the ball down under control quick enough. I don't think he's fast enough as well. Yes, he has a few sprints here and there, but I feel that he's not as energetic and not good off the ball as Kuna is. I genuinely think he's not match fit, but Ruben Amorim clearly thinks he is. He's playing him over Amad. I actually feel sorry for Amad. Him not getting game time. I mean, he was one of our best players last season, and now he's either playing right back or not even playing at all. Look, again, for me, it's very difficult to watch players like Amad or Mainoo not being involved in the game, especially when the players that we've got on the pitch are not doing a good enough job. And that brings us to Bruno Fernandes. So we got a penalty near the end of the first half, and he thought, yes, we've got a lucky break. It was a lucky break because VAR came into play and Mount was clearly fouled. It was a foul, and those are the new instructions given to referees this season, that if there's any holding in the penalty box, it should be a penalty, and that's what was given. So look, I thought Bruno Fernandes rolling up with the ball, easy. This guy doesn't miss. Bruno Fernandes does not miss penalties. Look, he's going to slot it in, his classic walk up to the ball, and he's just going to tap it in one of the corners, and it's going to be in. But then the shot that just went way over the goals. Even Leno was probably shocked, thinking, wait up, I didn't even have to make a save. And the penalty miss just summed up Bruno Fernandes' game yesterday, for me anyway. He wasn't good enough. He simply is not good enough in that position in the midfield. He can't play that role. He can't play the defensive role. In my opinion, he needs to be playing much higher up on the pitch. Drop your comments below. Again, this is a huge debate on where Bruno Fernandes should be playing. In fact, I think he should have been subbed off yesterday. And that's where I blame Ruben Amorim. Now again, I must stress, I like Ruben Amorim. I genuinely do. I think he is going to make things good. However, he has to make those big calls, and he has to take off the captain if he's not playing well enough. He admitted it after the game in the post-match press conference, where he said, yeah, Bruno Fernandes was not his usual self. If he wasn't his usual self, you should have taken him off. We have options on the bench. Kobbie Mainoo, perfect replacement. He would have been a lot better defensively. He would have covered the ground better. It's just, look, Bruno Fernandes was not doing anything on the pitch yesterday, and it was because of him that you could say that Fulham equalised, because Smith Rowe was his man. He let him go. What can I say? Genuinely, I'm upset. I was upset yesterday more than I've had some time to think about it. I've had some time to overcome the loss, or it felt like a loss even though it was a draw. I just felt like we just went back to our old selves, and I do not want to go and do that again. I do not want to live through another season where it's over within the first couple of games. We're just already thinking about, right, next season, let's just not care. And we've got nothing to look forward to other than this Premier League now. We haven't got European football. We've got nothing else. We just need to concentrate on the Premier League. And if we lose a couple of more games at the start of this season, we're done for. Because look, the likes of Chelsea, the likes of City, the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal, they're not going to drop points. Even Tottenham look better than us right now. So what now? Where do we go from this draw against Fulham away from home? So look, first of all, I want to bring this to reality. It was a draw. It wasn't a loss. It was against a team that's arguably playing well. They had a good season last season. They had a draw last game that they played. So they were riding high. They're still riding high on confidence. And it was away from home. And look, we had a decent start, but we let go of that decent start. We let the other side, the Fulham, back into the game, and then we became nervous like we always do. That was a problem. And then the corners, the whole issue with the corners, what is that all about? Why? Why can't United, the defenders, the team itself, defend corners? We've got big players in the team. We should quite easily be able to header the ball out, even if our keeper can't flipping catch the ball. And that is a big issue. I mean, Bendia and Onana are simply not good when it comes to corners, and Ruben Amorim knows that. Onana, by the way, on the bench again for yesterday's game. It's quite clear he's got no confidence in Onana. Ruben Amorim hasn't, and he wants a new goalkeeper. Hence why he's left Onana on the bench, and he's signalling to the board, get the deal done with Lemons, get him in so we can have a goalkeeper that I actually trust in. Will Onana get sold in this transfer window? Well, we've got 7 days before the window closes. That's a lot of time to get a player sold. Maybe not for United, actually. United struggle to sell anybody, even if they have months like they've had with Garnacho and everybody else, and Garnacho still sat there. But we'll come to transfers in a minute and we'll discuss Onana shortly. Let's just cover yesterday's game, so the fallout from that and where do we go. Well, look, let's be realistic. Right now it's still early days. We still have got some positives out of the game. We have got Kuna playing really well. Mbeumo needs to get to match fitness. Sesko didn't start. Some fans were complaining about him not starting. I get why he didn't start. I really do. I think he still needs more game time to get used to the pace of Premier League. He's coming from the Bundesliga. It's not very easy. And then if he has a bad game, we're going to all point fingers and say he's completely rubbish and it could knock his confidence. So let's not rush into bringing him on when the situation isn't right for us. Let's bring him on and slowly get him up to pace and his confidence high. That's what's needed in a player, a striker especially. You need them to be riding high and you do not want to knock their confidence, because getting their confidence back up again can be very, very difficult. So Sesko slowly being integrated into the team, I get that. And I'm not holding any grudges against Ruben Amorim not playing him from the start. Drop your comments below again on what you think about Sesko not starting. I know some fans are not happy with it. Some fans are saying he should be starting. We need a focal point up front and we need a striker like Sesko playing from the start. And we could have maybe got 1 or 2 goals in yesterday's game right at the start when United were all over Fulham if Sesko was playing. Now midweek, Man United will be playing against Grimsby. It's a must-win game. Actually, we should be winning that. We will win that. I'm sure we will. And the confidence level might slowly increase. And then we've got Burnley at home at Old Trafford. Again, a game that we should actually be winning. Once we win them, maybe, we'll be discussing something different. Maybe we'll be actually happy. Look, it's very thin lines between success and failure. If that goal from Kuna went in early on and Bruno Fernandes scores that penalty, we would have been completely celebrating this win and been saying, look, we were fantastic, we're a really good team and we might be going on and winning the Premier League. That's the difference between winning and losing and getting them goals when you're actually on top. That's why when you are a team that's in the ascendancy, you're playing well, you need to put them goals away. Missing chances is not good. And that's why even the penalty miss by Bruno Fernandes in the first half was so important. If he put that in, it would have been maybe settled us down, maybe we would have played better football, maybe Fulham would have been deflated, the fans would have gone quiet. They were already quiet. I mean, in the first 10 minutes, you could hear a pin drop. That's how silent it was inside the stadium, whilst United were just on top and just battering Fulham. So I genuinely think it's too early to start panicking and going crazy on what needs to change, what doesn't need to change. Yes, there are question marks over Bruno Fernandes playing in the midfield area. He can't play that. We need 2 holding midfield players in them positions, Casemiro and somebody else, Mainoo. Mainoo, of course, is the most obvious choice, but he's not playing Mainoo for whatever reason, we're not quite sure. But Mainoo hasn't had any minutes so far in the Premier League. He didn't feature against Arsenal. You thought he would come on yesterday. I genuinely thought, right, okay, any minute now he's going to take off Bruno Fernandes. Any minute now Mainoo is going to come on for Bruno Fernandes and we might change things up, but he didn't. He did bring on Ugarte. Ugarte did do nothing. He's completely out of his depth right now. Don't know what's wrong with him, but we can't keep on playing these players who are not playing well. And a shout out to Dalot. What a bloody idiot. What an idiot. Why would he do that? Why would he bring the ball down and try to do a spin right there when the pressure was on and Fulham were all over us? They had fresh legs on. We shouldn't have players like this. I mean, in fact, Dalot, for me, I've never understood how Dalot still plays for this United team. But anyway, we can't cry over spilt milk. We got the draw against Fulham. Maybe later on in the season, we might look back at this draw and think, actually, that was a good result. Fulham might go on and upset a lot of teams. It might be a team that actually does really well in the Premier League again this season. So you just don't know. We're moving on to transfer news. We've got 7 days left before the transfer window closes, and we're expecting absolute madness and mayhem before the transfer window closes. We're expecting United to bring in at least a goalkeeper. We know that. We know United are in talks with Lemons, or they've agreed personal terms. They've about to agree a valuation. I think we're going to get a here we go now in the next couple of days. I think that's definitely going to happen. And then we've got the midfielder problem. Do we get another midfielder and bring them in? We do need one. We need one. It's obvious we need a midfielder who is more defensive. But then the question is, who goes off for him? Who goes off for him? Is Bruno Fernandes going to play in that position all throughout the season? Because if this is the case, I think all the teams are going to look at it and be rubbing their hands thinking, brilliant, we've got Bruno Fernandes who can't sit in that position. He's going to wander around and we're going to have the whole midfield to ourselves. We'll outnumber Casemiro, whoever else, Ugarte or Mainoo, whoever else is playing next to Bruno Fernandes. We're going to just outnumber him and we're going to have control of the entire game. And that's the problem. Ruben Amorim has to make a decision on whether Bruno Fernandes continues playing in that position. He's not disciplined enough to play in that position. He's not a CM. He's never been a CM. We've got to accept that he's not good in that position, but it depends all on the manager. Is he going to be stubborn and keep Bruno Fernandes there? I don't think so. I think Ruben Amorim can see the game like most fans look at it. He has made some very good decisions, just like Onana being on the bench right now, needing a new goalkeeper. He's taken out players like Garnacho, Rashford and all the others that we've been complaining about. The players that we have been complaining about, he has done something about it. So I'm under no illusion that Ruben Amorim knows that Bruno Fernandes is not playing his best in the position that he's playing in right now. And I think he will make a change. Fingers crossed he does, because this could cost him his job if he carries on sticking with this formation and these tactics. And we heard from Fulham's manager Silva yesterday. We heard how he said it was quite easy. It was quite easy to play against United because we know exactly what they're going to do, and we knew exactly how we're going to overcome them in the midfield and take control of the entire game. That was kind of embarrassing to hear from the opposition manager, saying United aren't very difficult to play against, especially when we know exactly how they play and what their press is like. It was not good. Right now, opposition teams know exactly how to set up against United, know exactly how United are going to play, and there's no surprise in it. There's no surprise element. Now, coming back to transfers, midfield, yes, we need a midfield player. Can United go out there and get someone? They need to. I'm not sure if they're going to get somebody. That's the problem right now. I'm not hearing any concrete reports about United going after a midfield player. I think they could be resigned to saying that that's enough. We're going to go get a goalkeeper and that's it. We're not going to get a midfield player and we're going to wait on next season and then maybe go and get someone like Baleba, put all our money into the Baleba deal. I won't be happy with that. I genuinely think we need Baleba and somebody else anyway. Buying someone like Wharton or Game is probably an option. It's still probably good. We still need more midfield reinforcements. So let's get them in. We know Casemiro, this is his last season, so he's going to be gone. Ugarte, I'm not even sure if he's going to last the entire season. And then we've got Mainoo, who right now is out of favour with Ruben Amorim. Not sure why, but Mainoo is someone that we were looking at thinking he's going to be the next generation of Man United midfielders. Maybe it is because he's up against the captain, Bruno Fernandes, for his position. And of course, if you're fighting against the captain's always going to start, isn't he? So let's watch this space. Let's see what happens in the transfer market. 7 days, it's going to be nail-biting stuff. We're watching other teams making moves. United behind the scenes, no doubt, are looking at a midfielder. Who it will be, we're not quite sure, but we're going to bring you any further developments, any news we get. As soon as we get it, you will have the news as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you do not miss any further developments on transfers coming into United. You are watching the Man United Stream channel, a channel by the fans for the fans.